What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters, and welcome to Life Metal. It's time for yet another rock metal update. That's right, it's time for another rock and metal update. All 12-inch vinyl. May end up being a two-part video, depending. I've got a ton of 7-inch singles as well. This is going to be all 12-inch though. I'm going to start off, there's going to be a lot of thrash up front here. But I'm going to start right off with New Jersey Thrashers, Hades. Hades is kind of interesting because their first couple, actually I'm wearing their first album shirt right here. But Hades are kind of interesting because their first two albums were definitely thrash metal, you know, pretty much staying in that thrash metal vein. After that, they kind of mixed it with the U.S. power metal style, not far from, like, you know, Metal Church or Heretic or Reverend, those kind of bands. But then afterwards, you know, it's kind of a mixture. Either way, it's Dan Lorenzo, who is pictured on the back here, and Alan Tecchio, who was a fantastic vocalist who has also sang for bands like Watchtower. He did the Heathen's Rage reunion tour in 2005. So anyhow, this is their, I think it's their 6th studio album. They have a couple live albums and some other stuff too, but finding their stuff, besides the first 2 albums, which have been reissued a few times, their other albums haven't been really reissued much, so I was glad to see this, that Damnation finally got reissued. Damnation, capital N on purpose. Their 4th and 5th album, I believe, are coming out this year on vinyl, as well as their Fox Lost Studio sessions, which I'm really looking forward to getting all those on vinyl. So very cool. They also have a live album, which live on location, which I've had on CD for decades. Didn't realize it had been released a couple years ago on vinyl, so I'm going to be looking out for that one too. So my little dog here. This is Ace. Ace is one of my 2 dachshund brothers. And Ace is feeling very loving today. He wants to be constantly on my lap, so even when I'm in here videoing right now, he just kind of jumps right up my lap. So, alright, buddy, I gotta put you down. Okay, so Hades. I didn't pay a lot for this. You can get this pretty much on Amazon or anywhere else. So, I went to go see Ruthless this past weekend in California. Ruthless and Primal. Ruthless was doing their album. Whatever you call it, the album release show, but they had these on the table for, I don't know, I think they were $20 or $25. But this is Metal Without Mercy, so this is one of their old 80s albums that have been reissued. I have the original, I grabbed it and pulled it, so you can see it's slightly different. So I have the original one, which was on, gosh, I don't even remember what label it was on, Ironworks Records. But it has been reissued, and the reissue sounds good. To me, I don't know, I kind of put it on, listened to it, sounded good. Compared to the original, I don't think it's been remastered. I kind of wish it was, because it definitely could use a little more bottom end. But anyhow, this is a classic California. Again, kind of riding that fence between thrash and power metal. Again, much like Hades or Metal Church or, you know, any of those kind of bands, Heretic. So, great album, worth picking up if you can find it. Like I said, the band has copies, so first place I would check is on the band's website. If not there, check on their, they may have a Bandcamp page too. Because, like I said, $25, and you know, I went to the show, so it was worth picking up to support the band. Okay, this one I picked up at an actual record store, Meeble Records in Hollywood. My friend Bill and I went to Meeble last weekend actually before the show, and I found this one in there for, it was $20. Still sealed, so I snatched it because it was just one that I'm missing. I've had the CD for decades. And I have a lot of, you know, Eccentric on CD and most of their stuff on vinyl, but this is just one that I was missing, so it was just a lucky find. So, very cool UK thrash band from, this had to be what, 88, 89, somewhere in that area? 89 Roadrunner. This is a music on vinyl reissue, and it sounded great. I don't know if it's been reissued or not. I don't have an original vinyl to compare it to, but it sounds good. This one just came in the mail yesterday. It's been on my want list for a while. This came out, what, maybe a year or 2 ago? But I just didn't have it. I just didn't grab it yet. So finally got me a copy of Genesis XIX from Sodom, of course, German thrash metal. Literally have not even opened and cracked the plastic on it yet. So very much looking forward to listening to this one. I mean, I love Sodom, so it's not like it's going to be any big surprise. It's raw German thrash metal, you know, right along the lines of Creator and Destruction and Accuser and Tankard and all those kind of bands. So, anyhow, maybe you guys have already heard this one, and since I haven't even cracked the plastic on it, let me know what you think. Give it a rating. Tell me, you know, is it a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? So let me know. Sodom, Genesis XIX, and I don't know if I know the year. It was a few years ago, probably like maybe right around the pandemic time. I think remember this thing coming out. So 1920. Brand new album from Accept. Mark Torino on. Gosh, I can't speak today. Mark Tornillo, there you go, on vocals, XTT Quick. This has got to be, what, his 6th studio album with them? So he's pushing up, you know, matching Udo's studio albums. And I love the stuff that they've done with Mark. This is called Humanoid, which is kind of funny. The album cover and the name are very similar to Primal's album that came out last year. So I should have grabbed the Primal album to show it because, yeah, they're very similar album covers, very similar album titles. Both great albums. I love Primal. Like I said, I went to see them this past weekend in California. They were fantastic. What we're picking up, this one will definitely make my top 20 of the year. I've been playing it quite a bit. Blue Oyster Cult, this is their latest. This is, I've heard a lot of people saying, it's not as good as the last album. I don't know that this is actually a new album. I think this is kind of like an odds and sods leftover thing. A bunch of like leftover studio tracks and whatnot. They even got songs on here like Kick Out the Jams, which they've done before, you know, and I'm trying to think, was there other songs on here? But if you like BOC, like I do, you're probably going to dig this. I liked it. I had seen a lot of people saying, they weren't really into it like they were the last album. But like I said, it's leftover tracks. It's not necessarily, you know, a new album, but it's really good nonetheless. I'm a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan, so pretty much anything you put out, I'm going to buy. But yeah, I think it's good. But if you're not a completist, it's not necessarily, you know, something you need to rush out and buy. But if you're a Blue Oyster Cult fan, get it. Brand new album from Ravage. It's been a few years since they put out something. My Bad Ultimatum actually played a show once with these guys in Albuquerque down in a club. Really nice guys. Haven't talked to them in a decade. But their new album came out, so I immediately picked it up. I think I picked it up directly from the band. Packaging is really nicely done. It's got the obviously giant hype sticker on the front of it. Pretty typical of the artwork for Ravage. But the thing comes with so much crap inside this thing. Let me show it to you. When I say crap, I don't say that in a bad way. There's all kinds of cool stuff in here. Besides, you know, the record itself, which is opaque, kind of a, I don't know, and I put it in the sleeve. It didn't come in the sleeve. There you go. You can kind of see it. So it's kind of a reddish color with some black marbling in it. And let's see what else. There's other stuff in here. There's like a booklet. This is like I don't know, maybe 10 by 10 booklet. Pretty much like a giant oversized CD booklet with, you know, lyrics and photos, and if I can actually get the pages to turn here. Come on now. The paper's really thick. Anyhow, there you go. So, yeah, little 8-page booklet. It also came with and I put all this stuff in this baggie. It has a guitar pick, a sticker, 3 stickers, a giant postcard, and then it also came with a big, giant, I'm assuming, there's the, what do you call those things? The sleeve, the inner sleeve, jeez. It came with the inner sleeves. Like I said, I put my records inside the poly sleeves just because these ones tend to pop and tear really easy. Gatefold, double album. Yeah, it's a fantastic package, and it's just great old school heavy metal. These guys have been around for decades. They were pretty much around the same exact time Ultimatum was around, you know, in the 90s when heavy metal was a dirty word. So it was really cool that, you know, it's cool that you guys are still sticking it out. And then it's got a 10 by 10 of artwork. Fantastic package. I mean, this thing just, they definitely treating their fans well with this one. So I'm pretty sure I got it on their Bandcamp site. So if you're looking for it, I would just go to Ravage Bandcamp, Ravage. And style-wise, just U.S. heavy metal. Maybe some people would call it power metal. You know, I tend to think of power metal these days as the stuff that's coming out of Europe. But if you're into, you know, bands like Primal and Hades and Metal Church and stuff like that, you probably dig Ravage as well. Alright, still in the heavy metal, kind of getting away from the thrash, but finally this got reissued on vinyl. I'm a huge Iced Earth fan. The Glorious Burden. This has got Ripper Owens on it. One of my favorite Iced Earth albums. They really didn't put an album out that I hate, but I really like this one. I think Ripper did a great job. Of course, it's all the songs are based on American history and war and that kind of thing. And what's more metal than war, right? So great album. Glad to finally have it. I just wasn't paying $100, $200 for the you know, handful of copies that came out years ago. So I pre-ordered this one as soon as I saw that it went on sale because I didn't want to miss out. I also pre-ordered the Melancholy EP. My copy's in the mail. It should be here next week. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and if you're looking for the Melancholy EP, there's still copies available at girdermusic.com. GIRDER music.com. All right. Let's see. I got a couple Record Store Day things in here. 3 Record Store Day things in here. Let me show you those. Going through these quickly because I'm trying to keep it at one video. All right. So I didn't get to go to Record Store Day this year, unfortunately. And my buddy Bill, who usually goes, you know, in proxy for me, he couldn't go either this year, so I had to rely on other people and the internet. So I picked up basically 3 things that I wanted. There was actually 4 or 5 I would have liked to have had, but I'm happy. I didn't get the Eric Carr with the light up eyes. I really wanted that, but whatever. I did get the Motorhead and Remorse, no. So what is this? Is this a reissue of No Remorse? Sort of. So what you have here is a 2 album set, and it's got a lot of the same songs as that was on No Remorse, but it actually has alternative versions. So let me tell you what's on here. Ace of Spades, alternative version. Motorhead, the classic track, Live 84. Jailbait, alternate version. Stay Clean, Live 84. Poison demo. Killed by Death demo. Overkill single edit version. Under the Knife 12-inch single version. Stone Dead Forever, alternative version. Like a Nightmare demo. Over the Top, it's an alternate mix. Steal Your Face, Live 84. Bomber, alternative version. Iron Fist, from also from 1984 from Jackson Studios. Jackson Studio demo from 1984. I guess it's recorded live in the studio. Climber demo, Chinese demo, Hump on Your Back demo, none of which of those tracks were on No Remorse. Snaggletooth demo, Louie Louie alternate version, No Class instrumental version, Under the Knife demo version, the slow version, We Are the Road Crew alternative version, and You Ain't Gonna Live Forever, Bomber outtake, and Locomotive demo. So if you are a Motorhead fanatic as I am, this is essential. Just because it's not just a reissue of an album you already have. It's kind of a deep dive into demos and, you know, alternative tracks and stuff like that. But if you are a passive Motorhead fan, then, you know, all these rough mixes and alternative versions, they're not going to be as shiny and squeaky as the, you know, versions that were on the albums. But it's Motorhead, so who wants shiny and squeaky anyhow, right? I mean, it's supposed to be raw, dirty, Motorhead. Bleh. I mean, what got me into Motorhead back in the day, I think it was like 1980 or so. I believe it was Hip Parader magazine. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember 100%, but some magazine I was reading, and they were reviewing one of the Motorhead albums, and they said Motorhead was like the worst band ever. So of course I had to go hear that. So I ended up buying a Motorhead album back then, and it was in high school, and I was just a fanatic ever since. So, all right, this one was the one I had to get. I had to get this one, and thankfully I had a friend who hooked me up. So this is Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous at Hammersmith, November 16th, 1976. Double album. A full show. So Live and Dangerous was made up of like 10 different shows, and they picked the best tracks out and put them on the Live and Dangerous LP back in 1978. But recently they had put all the albums out, and I have the box set over there on CD, and it has all the shows on it, including the Live and Dangerous album, but then also has all the full shows that it was cut from. Well, some of these have been released over the years, you know, on vinyl as well. This one finally was released as a Record Store Day exclusive. It's supposedly never going to be reissued, and I kind of believe them because I missed out on the UFO Youngstown release a few years ago, and I'm still looking for a copy of that and can't get it. Also, Cheap Trick Epic Archives from Record Store Day. That thing is like $200. The Blue Oyster Cult Rarities and Vines. That's another one. It's like a $200 record because I missed out on it in Record Store Day. Regardless, this one I scored a copy, so very, very grateful, and thank you very much, my buddy for picking that up. Actually, I had 2 buddies who worked on that for me, so I'm very grateful. And this is the last one. And this one came actually you might have seen this when I showed it. Actually, I haven't showed the video yet. So this one actually, I got this as VCLT from my buddy in Canada, Greg the Egg. And so you'll be seeing this come up in another video as well. I did record that video as well, I just haven't got it up yet. So he hooked me up because I missed out on this one, but he was able to score a copy out in Canada for me. Awesome. Most of these, like when I was in all these different stores in California, we went to like, I'm going to say 5 or 6 different record stores. There was some leftover record store day things, but all the stuff that I was interested in, gone. I saw one copy of the Eric Carr, and they wanted over $100 for it, which is like almost double, I think, what it was on record store day. So I wasn't spending that. But couldn't even see this one, or this one. I also got the Voivod, but I got that one early because I worked on it, and that one too sold out, and you can't find that one anywhere. So, all right, let's see. I think that might be that's the last of the metal and thrash. I'm really getting into more of the hard rock thing here. 16 minutes in, so I'm going to keep going. If you're not into the rock stuff, then you can move on. But there's a couple Japanese pressings in here. Deep Purple, made in Europe. This is, of course, the David Coverdale, Glenn Hughes era of Deep Purple. I love this live album, always have. The version of Mistreated on here is to die for. This thing is worth buying if you could find a copy. It's got the OB strips, it's got the inserts, everything else. I don't know if this is the first pressing, because I have an original, U.S. pressing of this, and it's a gatefold with this silver metallic cover. But this one is not a gatefold; it's a single. So maybe Japan didn't get the gatefold. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to really look it up and see if there's more than one pressing of this. But I got this thing for such a killer price, I don't really care. Well under $20. And Japanese pressings in excellent condition like this, if you could find one for $20, you're doing good. Most Japanese pressings with the OB and all the inserts in good condition from the 70s and 80s, those things sell for at least, even the worst titles sell for at least $30 to $40 these days. So, same with this one. I got this a smoking deal, and I love this album. I know people don't like Yngwie because he's got an attitude, but this is the album that I shouldn't say I discovered him on. I actually saw him live with Alcatraz, and I knew him from Steeler before that, so I was already an Yngwie fan when this came out. Got to see him live opening for Ted Nugent. And then I got to see him the very next year at a small club on the Rape and Pillage tour in 1985, I believe it was. Summer of 85. And anyhow, Japanese import of that. Perfect, clean condition with OB and insert and everything else. So happy to snag that. This will be replacing my U.S. copy, which I will be trading off or giving away to a friend. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. Well, actually, there is a metal one in here. I forgot about this one. Another one of those giant center labels from Japan. This is Earthshaker, and this is the Blonde Girl EP, 4-track EP. Blonde Girl, I Need the Woman, Earthshaker, and Marionette. And I believe one of these, a couple of these songs I recorded live in 1983. So this is a cool find. It was very inexpensive. It doesn't have the OB. I need to check and see if it had an OB or not. I got it so cheap, I didn't care. I was like, I'm taking that. It was like $10, so I snatched it up. I like Earthshaker. I'm not like a mega fan where I know everything about him, but I had never seen this before, so it was worth picking up. Haven't even spun it yet. Literally just came in the mail this week. It'll be spun this week when I work. All right, got 4 more, and these are all. Besides this one, and these are all pretty much straightforward rock. This is more of the hard rock, or in the 70s they were considered metal. But this is Aerosmith. This is I believe a German pressing of Rock Giants. As you know, I'm a huge Aerosmith fan, always looking for odd pressings and packages from other countries, and this is just one that I've had on my watch list for a long time. It's not an expensive record, but you could probably find copies for $20, $25 here and there. The problem is it's usually from European or Japanese sellers, and then the shipping is $25. So you're end up paying $50, which I didn't want to do. I got this one from a U.S. seller for a great price in primo condition, so very glad to have it. Yet another to add to the ridiculously large Aerosmith collection that I have. And then this is another one that's been on my list forever. I've had it on CD. I actually got a 7-inch single of this thing too, which I might have already put that away. Yeah, it's not in here, so I must have put it away already. But this is the 12-inch single, excuse me. This is Phil Keaggy, Sunday's Child. I'm a huge Phil Keaggy fan. I love especially his instrumental stuff. This is one of his rock albums. Very Beatlesque in sound. Of course, Phil Keaggy's known for his work in the 60s, early 70s progressive rock band Glass Harp. And I saw recently that Glass Harp, their Live at Carnegie Hall album, is getting a vinyl reissue, finally. It was only ever released on a very obscure CD. From what I understand, Phil Keaggy himself cut the album to make it like kind of have that 70s feel to it. So, like, you know, like a 70s single album was. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyhow, great album, Sunday's Child. This is actually a gold label promo. Didn't come with anything else. It's just normal other than the gold stamp on the back. But finally glad to have a primo copy in my collection. I've played it twice already. I usually keep my albums out like this until I'm done listening to them, and I put them away because otherwise, you know, you don't listen to them. So, all right, 2 more. Staying with the Prog. This is Gentle Giant. This is a live album. Picked this up in California. I can't remember the name of the store, but anyhow, Rhino Records. I picked up at Rhino Records. It was brand new sealed. So this is Capitol Studios, West Hollywood, California, February 13th, 1975. It says recorded live. I'm thinking if it was recorded live, it says Capitol Studios, and it's like a radio broadcast. There is no crowd, so I'm not sure if they just played live in a room over the air and there was no crowd, or if there's just no crowd noise on this thing. So it sounds spectacular. I mean, the sound quality is awesome. But it's just a little odd when you're listening to a live album, there's no studio there, because you're like, it doesn't sound live, you know? But anyhow, it's a single album. It's pretty long. It only has 6 songs, but, you know, of course, it's Prog, so Prog rock tended to have longer tracks. But big fan of Gentle Giant, and in the last couple years, I just got into him a lot. But then again, I've been getting into a lot of 70s stuff over the last few years as well. Behind me, I'm not even kidding, I've been getting into a bunch of like 70s glam stuff, like Mott the Hoople and Ian Hunter and, you know, stuff like that. So I've been picking up that too, and that'll come into a future video. And then this one here is also Prog, kind of a Prog light, band I never heard of, but somebody told me to check them out, so I did. I got this thing, I don't know, like $5 sealed. One thing wrong with it is it's got a little corner snipped on it. But other than that, it was brand new, still sealed when I got it. I was a little worried about it being wrapped, still shrink wrapped, because I was worried it was going to be warped, but it isn't. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Maybe some of you guys can tell me a little bit about Garfield and what you think of them if you know who they are. I'm new to this band. I've only spun this once, but from what I've heard, I like it. But of course, I am a fan of Prog. So let me know what you think of it if you have this or have heard this band. So that's it. So that's my 12-inch rock and metal vinyl update for, what are we in now? May of 2024. Always appreciate the comments, so please leave a comment below. I always try to respond to anybody, even if you just say hi. But, you know, like I said, there's a couple albums I said rate in here. What do you think of them? I'd love to know what you think of the new stuff, like the Accept, the Blue Oyster Cult. If you know who Garfield is, let me know. So there's lots of things I'm looking for comments on. That's it. I appreciate y'all watching. God bless. Stay strong.